Hey everyone, this is Stargazer back with another video, and today we're here with The Life We've Chosen. Now, let's see here. Preferences. Oh, it's a visual novel. Okay. I can vibe with that. Ooh, full screen. Nice. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember anything about this game. I picked it out a while ago and just never got around to recording it. So let's just hit start here. Warning, this game contains mature themes such as mental illness, mainly depression, and unhealthy relationships. All of you have now been warned. If you don't like that kind of stuff, then do not proceed. I wasn't going to come here today. I'm going to have to work all day tomorrow to make up for my distracted mind. I was going to work inside until nightfall. I decided to only do a few hours in the afternoon. It should have been easy enough. But in the end, I couldn't even handle that much. It's just one of those days. It's always one of those days. Just as my thoughts begin to wander, the demon appears. They always seem to manifest themselves out of thin air when I'm not looking. I never learn. Their large form is hunched over and wrapped up in a tattered cloak, just like on the day I first became aware of their presence. Though the seasons have changed, the demon has not moved from this spot. They never initiate conversation with me. Instead, it's as if they offer me the choice to leave and pretend we never saw each other at all. I do not leave. Hello again. The only response I get is a sleepy rumble in the back of their throat. Sometimes I wonder if my visits annoy them. It doesn't seem like the demon ever has anything else to do, but that doesn't mean I'm not an inconvenience. I remind myself once again that if I was a bother, the demon could simply remain hidden from me. It's not like I can force them to show themselves. These meetings are their choice too. It's been a full year since our first meeting, hasn't it? The lake's been obscured by the heavy fog once again. I kind of miss this haze. There's something comforting about it. The demon doesn't respond. It often takes some time to get them talking, as if they need a moment to wake up. Or perhaps they're simply taking their time deciding whether the conversation is worth having in the first place. Are you cold? After a calculated pause, the demon draws a raspy breath. Their deep voice reverberates somewhere in their chest with untapped potential. But still, the sound that comes out of their beak-like mouth is barely louder than a sigh. And also, their voice is going to be exactly the same as our MC here. I don't do very well with different voices at this point. Maybe I could if I try, but unless I give it an absolutely ridiculous voice, but I'm not going to do that. The weather does not harm me, human. You would be wise to redirect your concerns. I have an extra blanket I could bring you? No. I knew there was no point in making the offer, but the demon's predictable answer amuses me regardless. The calm I felt after arriving here didn't last long. The plans I've made for tonight invade my mind out of nowhere. I can't stay long today. My friend is coming to pick me up soon. The one you've spoken of before, I presume. You remember? Her name's Ella. I don't know if I told you before. I have no interest in your names. Right, I probably wouldn't either. It would be tactless for a human to say such a thing, but the demon's bluntness is refreshing in a way. You won't have to memorize many names for my sake. I have very few friends. It's really just Ella and perhaps the demon themselves. It feels presumptuous to think of the demon as my friend, but what I don't say out loud, they won't know. I'm fairly certain they can't read minds. The demon shifts ever so slightly, adjusting their cloak. I still can't help thinking they must be cold. Your visits to this place have become more frequent lately. The observation makes my chest feel tight in a familiar way. Have they? A year ago, during the darkest days of fall, I also spent a lot of time down here. I had just moved into the small and cheap house up the slope, alone for the first time in my life. The house was suffocating. I had very few things going on in my life, and yet everything felt like too much to handle. I didn't know what to do with myself without anyone at home to perform happiness for. The lakeside felt like the only place I could breathe. It's happening again, isn't it? An idle glance at the demon reveals to me that they are waiting for me. Peh! I can read, I swear! An idle glance at the demon reveals to me they are waiting for me to elaborate. I guess I like it better here. Better than your dwelling, you say? Yeah. perhaps you should look into finding a more comfortable home. I can never tell whether they're joking. It's not the building that's the problem. The problem is all the things they need to do there, and all the things they need to think about. It's too much sometimes. Ah, I see you're kind of still obsessed with arbitrary responsibilities. You're not wrong. But when I'm here, I feel like I can just exist in peace, I suppose. It's nice. A fallen leaf lands silently in the moss growing from the demon's body. I've never once seen them move. Since our first meeting a year ago, they've never failed to show up when I've come looking for them. Are they really here all the time? My curiosity is great, but the topic is a little too close to home for me to address directly. Do you like it here? The demon draws a raspy breath before responding with audible exhaustion in their voice. It does not matter whether I like it here or not. I am here, and that is what I've chosen. There's a sense of finality in their words that stuns me for a moment. There are many more questions I'd like to ask, but in that moment, I realize I'm late. I'm sorry, I have to go now. I can't make Ella wait. Do not apologize, human. This is really interesting. I like it. Also, as I said when reading Stillwater last week, I think, or was it the week before? I don't know, time is meaningless. All of these voices are going to be very similar, if not exactly the same. I don't have a whole lot of range to work with at the moment. I need to get some voice training. But alright, continuing. I catch Ella just as she's getting out of her car in my driveway. If I'd left just a moment earlier, I would have had time to go back inside and pretend I'd been there all day. But now it's too late. Hey, aren't you cold like that? Where's your jacket? I'm fine. Where's yours? Don't need one in the car, Dumbo. What were you doing in the woods? I was just about to ring your doorbell when I saw you. I make a panic sound while I try to think of what to say. I forgot to come up with an excuse. I suppose, just talking with a demon isn't really a sane answer to give. She might worry about that. I ran into someone. Who? A neighbor? Kind of. Kind of? Who was it? I hesitate. I hate lying, but I still need more time. When I tell her about the demon, I'll have to do it the right way. Or, just don't tell her. I don't think you can easily explain talking to a demon. I feel terrible for lying to her once again, but I just don't have the courage today. It was just someone from the area. I don't know where they live. Ella makes that face that tells me a lecture is coming. Oh, God. Don't you remember what Miss Bailey taught us in first grade? Don't talk to strangers, especially not in scary places after dark. We're not children. No, but you live alone. Who's going to help you if something happens to you? She knows I still don't have an answer to her question, though she's asked it many times. I shrug in defeat. Well, I'm sure you remember I've got a spare room at my place if you ever need it. How could I forget when she reminds me about it every few months? Thanks, but I'm fine. I just worry about you. You know that. Ella bites her lip to appear endearing. Although I know it's a trick, I have to admit it kind of works. I mean, it helps that she's kind of cute to begin with. After making sure I saw her display, Ella puts on a peppy face, seemingly satisfied with having guilt-tripped me out of arguing back. Anyway, let's go, shall we? We can't have you running out of canned soup again. Canned soup. Not my first choice, but it works in a pinch. We get in the car. Sorry about making you do this right after work again. No, I'm kind of glad. It's good for me to see friends now that things are over with Elijah. They are? Ella doesn't even try to hide the bitter disdain in her voice. Didn't I tell you? He doesn't want to make the move into a crappy little town like this. His words, not mine. I hadn't realized it was that serious. I feel slow for not having made the connection on my own. A better friend would have seen the signs. Anyway, it's for the best. If we got married, it would have been Ella and Elijah forever. Can you imagine? Ella and Elijah. It just sounds wrong, doesn't it? I guess. You, on the other hand, have a super rad last name. Maybe we should get hitched. I mean... Were we still in middle school, I would have blushed at a joke like that. I would have kept thinking about it for weeks, trying to decipher whether there might have been some genuine interest hidden in it. Now, however, we're older. But then you would have to deal with me every day. You don't want that. Hey, don't pretend you know everything about me. I don't know, it could just be the... What is it? I don't know, it could just me sugarcoating things, but there might actually be some kind of interest. Could also just be a friendly joke that I'm reading too much into. Who knows? It became dark outside while we did our shopping. I should be good for another 2 weeks. As I'm loading my groceries into the trunk, I catch Ella watching me from the corner of my eye. What? Did you know Sally owns a hair salon now? Her boss left and went back to school for a second degree. So it was my neglected hair that caught her attention. Figures. Oh, good for her. I was thinking we could go see her sometime. You haven't seen her in a while, have you? It'd be fun to just show up randomly at her workplace someday. Maybe. I don't know. Wouldn't that be kind of rude? I mean... Depends on the scenario. What? No, she'd be happy, I'm sure. I doubt she gets many customers on her own anyway. Her boss is the good one, you know? Don't tell her I said that. Ella looks thoughtful as she locks the car trunk. Do you think Sally doesn't like you or something? No, nothing like that. I just thought it'd be bad manners for us to show up without warning. You think too much sometimes, you know that? It's really not a big deal. Desperate for a change of topic, I glanced at the locked truck, pretending to have remembered something. Oh, I was going to get garbage bags. We can go back. Nah, I'll get them some other time. I have 1 or 2 left. I don't know if I can drive you next week. Will you really be fine? I have a bike. A bike you hate using. I don't hate it. I just haven't had a reason to use it lately, thanks to you. Sorry, my nose is absolutely destroying me today. I try to give Ella an appreciative smile, which probably comes across as forced, but she accepts it gracefully anyway. I love it. I work in a job where I have to talk for a living, and I still trip over my tongue daily. You're welcome. I love that sax in the background. The moment I get home, thoughts about tomorrow invade my mind. I have nothing to distract myself from the dread of having a full workday ahead of me. Normally on an evening like this, I would escape to the lake, but even I would feel embarrassed doing so twice in one day. Perhaps I still have some dignity left. And going to bed too early. I practically ran out the door when the email arrived. Something about my performance, low words per hour rating. I'll never be good enough, will I? I really tried my best this week, after that one day when I couldn't handle anything. This is supposed to be an easy side job anyone could do. When I arrive at the lake, I almost want to cry, but manage to calm myself with a deep breath. One thing at a time. Today, everything is still alright, I tell myself. Today, I'm not falling apart. I won't think about it today. I address the demon beside me. There's something else on my mind. An idea that began forming a few days now. An idea that could take a lot of pressure off of me. Can I bring Ella to meet you? Only after I've asked the question do I realize I'm not sure if I even greeted the demon properly today. My obsession with the idea may have overridden my manners. Luckily, the demon isn't concerned about manners anyway. They respond in a sleepy, uninterested tone. It is your life and your choice, human. You do not need my permission. I would still like to have it. This is your home. There's a long pause, longer than usual, when the demon finally speaks with reluctance. I do not presume to know how your friend will react to meeting one of my kind. However, in my experience, these events rarely end well. This path could lead you to much suffering. Perhaps it will, but that's not what I asked. Do I have your permission or not? The demon sighs submissively. You do. Alright then, I'll bring her sometime soon. Thank you for looking out for me. Judging by the surprised reaction, the demon isn't used to being thanked. I should try saying nice things more often. In order for Ella to react well, I'll need a plan of some sort. How do I introduce a demon to someone who has never met one and probably doesn't believe they exist? You haven't told me your name. I have no name. There's a subtle tightness in the demon's voice, just noticed enough to tell me I shouldn't push the issue. Just think about how I'm going to introduce you to Ella. A name isn't necessary, but some kind of descriptor would be good to have, I think. You will figure it out. You're useless. The lack of reaction immediately makes me regret what I just said. I'm sorry, that was a joke. Humor is not new to me. It has changed very little since its conception. It was still a bad joke. They don't seem offended. I make a mental note to watch my mouth regardless. This isn't Ella I'm talking to. When did I start making the same jokes as her anyway? I've never even liked that kind of humor. She likes to make friendly jabs, but a jab is still a jab. She wasn't like that when we were young. I closed my eyes for a bit. Now that I told the demon about my plan, I feel both relieved and anxious. I was hoping relief would be the frontmost feeling, but it isn't. A cold breeze from the lake causes a shiver to run down my entire body. Return to your dwelling. Nights like this are not meant for humans. I don't want to. This is all going to change. Next time we meet, this will all be different. I'm a little scared. What of? I don't know what Ella is going to think of this. Of you. Already you are having second thoughts. No, I'm not. I've made my decision. I'm not going to keep hiding you from her as if you're something shameful. It is a matter of honesty, then. Yes, but it's not just that. I lose my nerve before I can articulate the difficult thought in my head. I can feel the demon's watchful eyes on me. Where do they get the patience to always wait for me to sort out my thoughts? It's hard to imagine Ella or anyone else being that interested in what I have to say. Perhaps that's exactly it. I've been thinking, and for a long time it's been like Ella and I don't really see each other. We talk often, but it feels as if she doesn't really hear me. I don't think she really knows me at all. I want her to understand me better. I want her to know what's really going on. What is going on? The question hits me hard. It shouldn't have. It was just a question, but I forget to breathe for a moment. What is going on with me? Oh, I have choices. We're gonna save. God, I wish I had the save method in real life. There's so many options I could try. I have to confess. I say that, although I'm not sure how to word my confession. The demon sits still as ever, but there's something off about them. Looking in their eyes, I see an emotion I can't quite name, but I can't help thinking it looks a lot like sorrow. Why? I'm sorry, should I not? Demon breathes in, seemingly deeper than usual. It is not that I don't wish to hear what you have to say. It is the timing that is precarious. There are enough variables in the air as it is. I fear having this conversation now would only complicate things. It seems they've understood my meaning, although I'm not entirely sure what I was going to say myself. I understand. Another time, then. Another time. We fall back into a shared silence. Although we both know there's something in it we are both ignoring. It feels odd, but I trust the demon's judgment better than I trust my own. Although the night is still young, a wave of drowsiness sweeps over me. I could almost fall asleep standing up. The demon's silent presence is an immense source of comfort. It would be so easy to lie down and sleep right here, knowing they'd be watching over me. It's a selfish desire, and although I'm not bold enough to act on it, the thought brings me solace. Oh, okay. I didn't notice the... Okay. A gentle nudge on my left shoulder. It wasn't warm or cold. It's as if it wasn't there at all, but I know I felt it. I look up a little embarrassed, and the demon returns my gaze with the same hard-to-read eyes as always. Their voice, however, is soft. Return to your dwelling. Please. Although I prefer to cling to this moment a little longer, I can't deny the appeal of the recommendation. As I gather willpower to get moving, or else my joints ache from the cold. The demon's common sense proves to be better than mine once again. I don't know what to say after all. See you soon. And of this note, we're gonna save. Main menu. Yes. I'm gonna cut this off here because this video is getting close to 20 minutes. So I will see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be really soon, because I want to get back into the swing of things. Hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you're having a great whatever time zone it happens to be. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!